is Smart Consulting Sourcing, the only podcast about consulting procurement or how to buy consulting services. You'll get tips on how to use consulting, buy consulting, and managing the consulting. And now your host, Ellen Lafitte.
And welcome back to Smart Consulting Sourcing, the only podcast about consulting procurement. I'm your host, Ellen, and this is our last episode in a series all about optimizing the ROI of your consulting spend with our 6-lever tactics. So we've had some great discussions over the past few weeks. So before we move on, let's take one more dive into how to make sure you're getting full value for every cent spent on external consulting services. As we wrap up this amazing journey together, let me quickly recap what I said last week before diving headfirst into my final summary of the series. So make sure you buckle up tight, because here comes an unforgettable ride towards ultimate optimization bliss. So last week, we took a deep dive into how to get the most out of your consulting spend. We explored 4 areas that are essential for optimization: strategy, organization, and governance, sourcing process, category management principles, and enablers. To ensure a maximum ROI, you need to focus on demand management, so your team's goals and objectives align with organizational ambitions, as well as implement effective processes when it comes to sourcing consultants. So it all adds up. By taking control of every piece in the puzzle, you can make sure no opportunity is left behind. So the sourcing process is critical to any successful consulting project. To ensure a win-win situation for both parties, establishing appropriate negotiations through strong RFPs and agreements like NDAs. You have to leverage competition when needed, check references thoroughly, and remember the value of incentivizing suppliers. Consider small changes that could make a difference, such as performance fee structures or other mutually beneficial outcomes. They can add up in your favor over time. Now, by following category management principles, you can ensure every dollar is well invested. Spend analysis and market knowledge are essential for understanding cost breakdowns and pricing strategy. Keeping an eye on supplier performance through measures like project impact level, expertise, or preferred suppliers will ensure that relationships match up with the needs of your company. And if all that isn't enough yet, platforms and tools, teams, processes, and performance metrics exist to help optimize procurement further. No success should be within the reach in no time. So, if you want to listen to the complete episode, turn into our podcast on Spotify and iTunes, or catch the show's latest episode in HD, courtesy on Consulting Quest YouTube channel. But if your thing is more your style, you can go to our website, consultingquest.com, and see the full transcription that you can devour from every angle. Now, on to our current episode. Tune in as we summarize all of our tips, tricks, and advice over the course of the series, helping audience members make informed decisions on their consulting spend. So, Smart Consulting Sourcing is on a mission to turn consulting clients into wiser and more informed buyers of consulting services. You can use the 6-lever approach to optimize the ROI from your consulting spend, which we discussed in the entire series of podcasts. Investing in consulting services is a big decision that can have lasting benefits or hefty costs. When companies take the time to optimize their expenditure, however, they tend to save 20 to 25%. You can create immediate value by engaging cost-effective consultants and negotiating project prices while providing a safety net for budget planning. So what's more, executing properly, managed spend yields return on investment. So it puts money back into companies' coffers and increase EBITDA figures, not only helping your financial stability, but further allowing your business opportunities for growth, such as tucking away funds necessary for future strategies, changes, or development initiatives. Managing your consulting budgets also help build collaboration between team members, keep supplier relationship healthy, and reduces risk for project failure. So learning how to maximize ROI from spending could be just what the bottom lines need, right? Have you ever wondered why some organizations miss out on great opportunities that could bring real value? You know, companies often stick to first in, first out processes due to a lack of resources, and they are unable to maximize the ROI from consulting spend. On top of that, demand management is usually based on one threshold, which can result in missing small but highly strategic projects with high potential returns. So even when it comes to category management, you will find a high-level taxonomy system making it tricky to involve smaller and more niche players or diversify the supplier list. And it leaves many companies feeling stuck. So what if we took another look at these scenarios? So you must take a holistic approach when it comes to getting the most out of your consulting spend. You need to recognize that monitoring just big strategic projects isn't enough, and should also include baby steps like post-performance evaluation for simple engagements. A successful ROI demands careful collaboration between procurement teams and business lines to craft nuances. What else? RFP written with diligent accuracy, effective management of internal resources while taking costs into account. These are essential pieces in creating an atmosphere that can produce meaningful results for business investment when working alongside consultants. Establishing relationship with stakeholders as well as onboarding top brass executive who brings solid justification behind plans help pave path towards success too. If you want to make the most of your consulting spend, having best-in-class procurement is key also. But all too often, companies relegate it to a back office function when in reality, it should be part and parcel of their corporate strategy. So these days, if used correctly by business leaders, procurement can help tap into new markets, as well as unlocking innovation and gaining that elusive competitive edge, paving the way for true ROI success. So let's take a look at how these 6 levers are critical for achieving optimal value from consulting services. The first lever is to invest in the right project. So don't just seize any opportunity that comes your way. You should recognize the value it brings to your company as a whole. When funds are tight, you must think carefully about which initiatives will have the most significant effect on what matters for your organization. After you have identified the priority project, it is time to decide how they will be delivered. And that leads us to our second lever, selecting an appropriate delivery model. So before launching your project, determining the perfect approach should be your top priority. Generally speaking, making such decisions requires considering a make or buy strategy, meaning that you must determine if internal resources are most suitable or if external consultants need to be hired for desired results to occur quickly and with lower cost associated. You know, controlling cost should be your number one priority to guarantee that this process is not expensive and goes off without a hitch. Consulting can represent a large portion of your indirect expenses, yet they're usually left unmanaged and spread out. Nevertheless, and that's the silver lining, when monitored effectively, it can lead to substantial savings. Thus, we have established our third lever, right? Keeping your cost under control for optimal success. But return on investment is not just about money, but also the value and impact. To truly maximize your ROI, you must ensure this strategy are successful. Thus, choosing the right consulting firm becomes even more critical as they make or break a project. Yet this responsibility doesn't fall solely on their shoulders. Effective project management should be shared between both parties in order to guarantee each initiative results in progress towards larger objectives, such as advancing your strategy or capturing savings. And it means you need to manage your suppliers properly and partner with them, even to maximize the impact they deliver to your organization. And this brings us to our fifth lever, managing your suppliers. Often, consulting services are purchased directly by end users without procurement intervention until, in the better of cases, negotiation phase arrives. Procurement teams too frequently find themselves confined to administrative duties, such as contract management and purchase order processing, with little to no influence elsewhere in the process. Businesses must ensure that the suppliers meet or exceed the buyer's expectations in terms of quality, delivery, and cost. However, we often observe poor supplier management, which results in unreliable suppliers, disruption, conflict, dissatisfaction, and a lack of communication. So when these 5 levers have been checked, you need to ensure that the change sticks. You need to make the change sustainable. And our final lever, sustaining the transformation by improving your consulting sourcing capability, which means skills, process, and technology, is just as critical as any other transformational project. Without gaining buy-in from management, especially senior execs within the organization, progress will be slow or even non-existent. Sustainability is key to achieve the coveted rewards of transformation. For it all starts from leadership. When companies must determine how to prove the value and return on investment regarding their consulting spend, this can be tricky terrain to navigate. Oftentimes businesses are unwilling or unable to accept faults in existing processes. However, by showing them where they need to improve when sourcing consultants for stakeholders or business line, there may be room for improvement that yields greater return on investment. So, of course, there is no perfect solution, but procurement can help point you in the right direction. After all, they are the specialists at buying, right? The procurement group simply starts by setting priorities. Where do you think you fail the most? Is it because you have no control over your cost? If that's the problem, you can start right there, right? As businesses strive to improve their financial performance and meet their strategic objective, consulting spend is a great way to get there. But just throwing money at consultants won't guarantee optimal return on investment. To maximize your ROI from deploying outside brand power, you'll need to focus resources in the right direction. Find cost-effective suppliers and set clear expectations for internal stakeholders, all while learning how to negotiate better rates with those same consultants. The success of your company's consulting investments all comes down to collaboration. Working together, procurement teams and business line can ensure maximum return on their investment, potentially increasing ROI by 50%, reducing costs by 30%, and creating an impact that goes beyond the bottom line. So don't miss out. Get started with optimizing the ROI of your consulting spend now. So to sum up, we've discussed the value of managing consulting spend to create immediate ROI and grow your business. Using cost-effective consultants may help bring down prices while still providing cushions for budget planning. Post-performance evaluations, as well as collaboration between procurement teams and business lines, are also vital steps in getting maximum return for any initiative or project you invest in. Not to mention being diligent with RFPs and actively managing projects while taking cost into account. Besides, procurement done right can open an entire new world of possibilities. Utilizing a 6-level approach is the way to tap its full potential and unlock innovation, competitive advantage, as well as maximum value from consulting services. A successful journey starts with investing in meaningful projects while selecting delivery models that fit your needs, along with cost-controlling measures. All of this is followed by sourcing top-notch firms, managing suppliers carefully during execution, leading up to sustaining transformation through continual improvement cycle thereafter. So in conclusion, implementing good procurement practices should not just be key for success, but also an integral part of any corporate strategy going forward. But hold on, we've only completed one series out of the many yet to come, and we're only just getting started. There's still so much more in store. So get ready for next week. We're starting an exciting series on buying consulting services. We'll tackle the value of consultants, the tips for writing RFP, negotiating advice, and more. So whether you're in procurement or leading a project directly as an executive, this information will give you all the tools you need to buy smartly and confidently with any consulting engagement. So don't miss it. Till then, stay safe and happy sourcing. And if you have any questions regarding our 6-level series or anything consulting procurement related, remember you can always contact me directly on LinkedIn or by email because I'm always game for a chat. Bye, and see you next week. Au revoir.
You've been listening to Smart Consulting Sourcing, the only podcast about consulting procurement. We hope you enjoyed the show. We'll be back soon, but in the meantime, hit the website at consultingquest.com. Find us on LinkedIn, Twitter, and YouTube. For questions and comments, send an email to ellen.lafitte@consultingquest.com. See you next time.